cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1971, 1971. That was a year with like Nixon.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And there was Watergate and impeachment, and it was itching for a good time because you were watching stuff on the television and listening to stuff on the radio that was awesome in the 70s. I know the song wasn't very good about 1971, was it? Was there Olympics then? No, that was the 72.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What else happened in 71? There was absolutely nothing.
Mike's
It was very
Daily
quiet that year.
Podcast.
Except for that Vietnam thing.
Yeah.
And everybody yelling at each other. Come on, people now. Join with your brother. Let's everybody get together. Love right now. Mike Matthews here. Mike's Daily Podcast here at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Still in Podcastro Valley, where we're drying off because we had a lot of rain. We enjoyed the rain. Who'll stop the rain? And do you know, why did Creedence Clearwater Revival, popular in the late 60s, early 70s, do songs about rain twice? They had that one, and Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Huh? I've often wondered about that for long periods of time, and I sit in a funk, and I just sit and think about these things, because that's important to think about. Well, it's Friday where I am here at Cafe Anyway. Anyway, where you are, possibly you're having a Friday as well. And I like to share things that I find that are fascinating, that are helpful, that are, I don't know, different from all the other crap you're listening to on podcasts. Oh, did I say crap? I meant to say stuff. Because kids might be listening. Kids don't ever say the word crap, even though, as I've mentioned before, the inventor of the toilet, his last name was Crapper. Which is odd and interesting, and so what life is all about today, kids.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Odd, ironical things happening at a snail's breakneck pace. Hey, so there's a thing called successful aging, and by the way, the podcast picture is of me. It kind of encompasses aging, doesn't it? Because there I am with my crow's feet, which I am happy to have, because I've smiled a lot, and I deserve them. I hope I can smile some more and make even more crow's feet. But there is also the cemetery that I am standing in. And yes, I took my dog to the cemetery. You can take your dog to the cemetery. Just don't, be respectful. Don't let the dog, you got to be really ultra on your... That's right, Basil. You have to be on your P's and Q's at a cemetery if you're a dog owner, because you don't want to ruin it for the rest of us that like to walk our dogs. And for the most part, when I was at the cemetery, this was on Wednesday, the Mountain View Cemetery, everybody had their dogs on a leash. And that's good, because it is not a dog park. It is someplace that you have to be respectful to those who we have lost. Who is bugging the crap out of me? Oh. Somebody gave me crabs. No, a bag of crabs. Not the disease. That went over the head of kids, hopefully. No, crabs. And I know now how to make them. Or to well, these were already cooked, so they weren't alive, and I didn't have to kill them. They were already dead. I didn't have to boil them. But, I just threw them in the microwave, and I don't have a nutcracker, so I used pliers and I would have made a nice garlic butter sauce, but instead I used olive oil and garlic powder, and it worked great. And ate some delicious crab. Now, somebody just texted me about crab that gave me the crab, and I want to thank that person for the crab. But quite frankly, that person's put me through a lot of crab lately. And that has to do with the fact that, well, He would say it's because somebody else is causing the issues that's making him angry. And maybe there is a thing where we can blame stuff on other people. And that's what I guess I was doing with him. But here's what we do. At some point, we have to look at ourselves and see, am I causing things? Where do I figure in all of this? And take responsibility. And that's exactly the last show, the type of person I was talking about. One of the issues, them being inconsiderate and not caring whatsoever about other people. Where they never ask themselves, where do I fit in the picture? What do I bring to the party? And do I need to pay attention to that? All right, that's some sort of metaphysical thing that you can think about if you want. Or just think about crabs. Or just think about aging. Because there's a successful way to age. And I pulled this out of the Costco magazine. That last article from the last show, by the way, was from the Tri-Valley Voice. Is that what it's called? Yeah, what's going on? What's happening? I think it's what it's called. And thank you for that article. Now, this article from Costco, which is a very reliable source on aging, because a lot of old people go there, a lot of young people go, all types of people go there. But most of us, after 30, don't think about preparing for our 60s and beyond. It's clear that some older adults remain mentally sharp as others seem to fade. As a neuroscientist was once saying, I want to know what my loved ones and I can do to avoid sliding into the fader category. Yikes, fading. That was a great song by Temper Trap called Fader. Something like that. Some people who do seem to age more successfully than others can thank genetics. Some of it's just plain luck. But there are things that all of us can do to tilt the variables in our favor. Do you want to know what they are? Do you? Do you want to know? Do you want to know? Let's go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, and I will tell you. And you can see the podcast picture, by the way, at MikesDailyPodcast.com. And you can tell me what you think about crabs and aging and narcissists and how you fit in the picture in the world and the salmon that are dying. I was shocked to read in the East Bay Express an article. I think this is a recent one. I picked this up the other day when I was in Oakland. That the salmon, that there was once a bunch of salmon in California. I didn't realize that. I thought that was just in Portland, in Oregon, I mean. And in Washington. I didn't think it was a California thing, but it was. And then we killed them all off with all the farmlands. And then the pumps that are pumping the water, like through Tracy and stuff, and out to Sacramento and everywhere. Those pumps, they just frickin' chew those poor young salmon up. So when you're eating anything that's been irrigated by the water that gets pumped in through those pumps, you're getting a little bit of salmon in your vegetables and fruits. So you're getting a little bit of omega-3 fatty acids in there. Now, I don't know if that's for sure. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not for sure. But that's something to consider, that poor young salmon are getting shredded up and poured into the irrigations to feed the plants that we eat. And yes, California sure grows a lot of vegetables and fruits. So it's a give and take, right? We sacrificed animals for fruits and vegetables. It's sad. Okay, but back to aging. And what do you think about all that? By the way, you can call me at 1-336-MM Daily. That's 1, 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been for 2 days now. Woo! And we'll try to be as long as it can. 336-MM Daily. Okay. Coach is what this writer says. Daniel J. Levitin. And this is how you get ready for a good brain health as you get older. C in coach is for curious about the world and the people in it. O is for open to new experiences. And then you need to maintain active associations with people. In other words, make new friends and keep the old ones you have. That's tough for me. Keeping the old friends that I have. You need the old friends, though. It takes a lot of work. And it's so weird in today's society where we have a gazillion ways, and that is a number, you can look it up. Gazillion ways. Okay, maybe it's not. A gazillion ways to reach each other now. And yet we don't. We are lazier than ever, and we should reach out and talk to those people we haven't talked to in a long time. And I'm guilty of it too. And you know, it's hardly, in my experience, it's hardly a bad time ever to revisit with old friends. Yeah, you gotta get over the whole, oh my God, you look so much older thing. But once you're past that, it's great because you're both, you know, you have memories from way back and you can talk about them, talk about how each other, how you are now, and there's all kinds of stories. And then you realize, oh my gosh, now I know why I never called this person again. And then you go, okay, till next time. And then 10 more years go by. But at any rate, it's important to keep friends and associations. So we're at COA. What's the next C? Conscientious. Be conscientious about your health. See the doctor regularly and commit yourself to successful aging. What's the H? Healthy. You got to have a healthy lifestyle. Healthy lifestyle practices like a balanced, varied diet and good sleep hygiene. You shouldn't eat ice cream every single day. You probably shouldn't do one particular food I don't know, though. Because I drink smoothies a lot, but the smoothie isn't the same exact smoothie every time. Like sometimes I'll throw some, berries in it. Sometimes I've actually thrown persimmon into a smoothie. It makes it look a very interesting color. It's pretty good. So, Coach. And that was a great TV show with Craig T. Nelson and Dick Van Dyke's brother. What about exercise? Yes, but even more important is movement and exploration. Getting out and exploring your environment. See, it's good for what's going on between your ears. Even if you don't manage to get your heart rate up, like 16-year-olds do in the gym, but the act of walking or cycling in new environments keeps your brain young because exploring and navigating rejuvenates the brain. Next time you go shopping, don't park near the entrance. Remember, we've been talking about this. We talked about this last show and in a couple shows back, but don't park right near the entrance of where it is you want to go, which so many people do. You want to, in fact, park far away and walk. Splurge on some good walking shoes. Yes. Mind your feet. You certainly need those when you get old. Try and preserve them as long as you can. I almost lost... Well, I had a tough time walking for a long time because I had abused my feet. And now I'm like, I got to get good shoes that are good for my feet. And on the way home, stop at a park and walk on a trail you haven't been on before. You may just find your life taking surprising turns. Julia Hurricane Hawkins began competitive sports at age 75. And last year at the age of 103... she took 2 gold medals at the National Senior Games. Wow. Okay, one of the tenets for successful aging is to keep your social circle exciting and new. Here's some suggestions. Join or start a club. A club. I don't want to be in any club that would want me as a member. Ha ha ha, Groucho Marx. No, but maybe you want to be in a Groucho Marx club. Or a hiking club, book club, dog walker club, church group. Get to know your neighbors. People who get to know their neighbors report significantly higher life satisfaction. Isn't that interesting? There's the golden rule. Love thy neighbor as thyself. And that whole thing, that goes way back. And it's a thing even today. Know your neighbor. Get to know him. would you be, my neighbor? Get a dog. Oh, did you hear that, Basil? Being with your dog provides a natural entry to a conversation with a stranger, especially if they have a dog. Yes, I've made so many friends because of Basil. My lovely lady friend, yes, my girlfriend, I met because of Basil. And what's fascinating about it, what's a miracle about it, is that Basil was basically on his last legs. I mean, he's still alive, but he couldn't walk many months after, just a few months after we had met each other and started dating. He couldn't walk anymore. His back legs gave out due to old age and degenerative myelopathy. So it was a godsend that I met my lovely lady friend when I did. And we thank Basil every day. And we still try and walk him because he can move his front legs still. And his back legs, as I've mentioned many times before, I lift up with a special harness that I got off of Amazon. And it was actually not that expensive. It was like only about $13. You can get them on sale for that. I think they maybe go for $20, sometimes $100, depending on what you want. I like the type of harness that goes around the actual, like the upper thigh part of the dog's leg. It is able to lift them up easier and hold them up easier. Okay. And then also, and I've met just about all the friends that I have made in just the past couple of years. I've made through going to dog parks or as I was walking Basil, that whole thing. So, yes, that is very true. And finally, join or help create an intergenerational choir in your community. Aha! That's interesting. I had not thought about that. I like to sing, but I don't know if everyone's open to hearing you sing. Hey, I got a bunch of my friends together. We sing in my community. Bunch of people that I know. You want to come to the concert? All right. Thank you so much, Costco. There you go. What a fascinating, helpful talk we just had, didn't we? In Mike's Daily Podcast. Hey, let's say hi to a couple people outside a cafe anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley, the last place on earth. Let's say hi to them now. Hello, Michael Mash's Madame Rootabega, and I love dancing with people my own age, also the younger people. Ooh. Madame Rootabega, nobody is your age because you are, in fact, immortal. You live forever, so nobody else does. And because of that, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And you love to dance with younger people? Yes. Because when they dance, they dance really fast and you like to dance fast? Yes. And because when you dance, you're moving and you start to sweat and you stink? No. Oh. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we was listening to you about the whole thing with aging and all that. And I want to tell you, I don't want to ever get old there.
Yeah, getting old. Do you know that? No, old is a thing that some of us dread, for sure. I was talking to my mom, who turned 80 recently, and I go, congratulations, and she goes, oh no, it sucks. But the alternative isn't any better. And then I talked to another lady who just turned 80, and I said, congratulations, and she goes, I know, it's so weird. It's not thank you. Yes, I made it. It's wonderful to still be alive. It's like, what's going on here? What's happening? But if you are old, congratulations. I guess thank you for being old. And hopefully we all get as old as you, I guess was what I'm saying as I wrap up the show. Because next show it's going to be Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. Thank you for listening. What do you think about all of that? You can call me 336-MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast is. Tell them more, Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!